Recording in progress.
Buenas tardes con todos. Estamos ya próximos a empezar el webinar, el meeting de hoy. Prácticamente a un minuto de poder empezar y estamos dando a admitir a todos los que se están conectando. So good afternoon to everyone. We're very close. We're about to start in just one more minute. So we are giving admission to all the participants. So, welcome to everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are connecting from. I'm Dr. Norville Merachu, the current National Secretary of ICOH in Peru. And I am really delighted to welcome all of you to this meeting that has been organized with great support from the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland and the IHeed Cambridge Group. Buenas tardes con todos. Soy el doctor Norville Merachu, soy el actual secretario nacional de ICOH por Perú y es un gusto poder recibirles y darles la bienvenida para este meeting, webinar organizado con el gran apoyo de el Real Colegio de Médicos de Irlanda y el grupo IHeed de Cambridge, para poder hablar acerca de oportunidades de formación académica, de licenciatura y de certificación que podemos encontrar fuera de Perú. Si bien es cierto, para resumir un poco el contexto nacional que tenemos, actualmente hay profesionales de salud ocupacional y específicamente médicos ocupacionales que pueden realizar las labores de todo médico de trabajo teniendo por un lado diplomado, por otro lado médicos con maestría y por otro lado médicos con la especialidad tras el residentado médico. En esta oportunidad vamos a salir del esquema solamente nacional y poder ver qué otras oportunidades de formación hay fuera, oportunidades también de credenciales y de licenciatura fuera de Perú. Entonces, todo lo que se va a presentar el día de hoy tiene un objetivo de conocer esto desde el punto de vista académico y además vamos a contar con la experiencia compartida de un colega que ya ha vivido o ya ha pasado por este camino. So today we are going to have two speakers who will share with us from one side all the academic program and content and opportunities that we can find out of Peru, in which the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland and the IHeed Cambridge Group are leading these programs. And on the other side, we will have a colleague from Peru who has gone and complete this journey and can share with us his experience. Ahora me gustaría presentar, tenemos la participación justamente del doctor Osvaldo Ortiz Trigoso, colega peruano, médico especialista y máster en Medicina Ocupacional y Ambiental por la Universidad Peruana Cayetano Heredia, máster en Administración de Servicios de la Salud por la Universidad de Ottawa, líder corporativo de salud para las operaciones globales de Río Tinto y Vale del 2015 al 2023 y actualmente consultor independiente para el sector minero en varios países. Además, se viene desempeñando como tutor en el Diplomado Internacional de Medicina Ocupacional del Royal College of Physicians of Ireland y es miembro activo de la Sociedad de Medicina Ocupacional SOM de United Kingdom y es revisor por pares de la revista médica ocupacional, la revista médica Occupational Medicine en los últimos 3 años. Asimismo, vamos a contar con la participación del Dr. Will Ponsonby. Dr. Will Ponsonby is a past president of the United Kingdom Society of Occupational Medicine in the period 2018 to 2019 and has a breadth of experience in occupational medicine across the energy and resources sector. After qualifying in Birmingham, United Kingdom in 1986, he trained in general practice and emergency medicine. From 1996, he ran the medical service for Azerbaijan International Operating Company in Baku, Azerbaijan. He was the International SOS Regional Medical Director for Russia and Kazakhstan for 4 years. While subsequently working for Shell, he became board certified in occupational medicine in 2002. Dr. Will remained at Shell until 2015 before taking on the role of Chief Medical Officer for Rio Tinto, which he held until 2018, based in London and Singapore. He has run his private occupational health consultancy practice since 2019 and is senior lecturer in occupational medicine at the University of Manchester. He is the current course director of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland and the IHeed Cambridge Group Diploma in Occupational Medicine. So welcome Dr. Osvaldo and Dr. Well, and thanks for sharing with us because we have invited ICO members from Peru, but also non-ICO members from Peru, but who are performing as occupational medicine physicians and who belongs to the Peruvian Society of Occupational and Environmental Medicine, but also other professionals who has been very interested in these opportunities. Welcome to both of you.
Gracias, Norville. Bienvenidos, colegas. Espero que el día de hoy podamos tener una sesión interesante para todos que nos permitan abrir algunas puertas adicionales a las que ya tenemos en el ámbito internacional. El doctor Will Ponsonby nos va a hablar en primer lugar un poco de estas credenciales que se pueden obtener a través del Colegio de Médicos, el Real Colegio de Médicos de Irlanda, que son la licenciatura y la membresía, y él nos va a hablar del valor que tienen las mismas. Antes de darle paso al doctor Will, quisiera darle algunos tips para que la sesión les sea de la mayor productividad posible. Primero, que mantengan sus micrófonos en mute. Al final de la sesión tendremos una parte para preguntas. En segundo lugar, que activen la opción de captions, no de subtítulos, para que puedan ver la traducción automática al español que Norville ha activado. También les advierto que la sesión está siendo grabada, en primer lugar para facilitar que después ustedes también puedan revisarla si es que tienen que desconectarse o por cualquier otro motivo no estén prestando atención. Todos sabemos que a esta hora del día trabajamos y a veces hacemos más de una cosa a la vez, ¿no? Y bueno, finalmente para también aclarar que además del doctor Will Ponsonby nos acompañan el día de hoy Ian y David, que en su momento Norville los va a presentar, ambos representando también a IHeed. Entonces, sin más, desde este punto en adelante, la sesión se va a conducir solamente y exclusivamente en inglés. Y como primer ponente nos va a acompañar el doctor Will Ponsonby. Norville, si pudieras darle paso a Will, o Will, perdón, si pudieras abrir tu micrófono. Will, if you can open your mic and commence the meeting, please.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation to attend here. For those of you who are already working in occupational medicine, you'll know what a fantastic specialty it is. And for those of you who are thinking about working in occupational medicine, I can only tell you that of my experience, I found occupational medicine roughly 8 or 9 years after I qualified, and moved into that specialty 30 years ago, and have been absolutely fascinated by it ever since, and really enjoyed it. And one of the things I'm really excited about with the professional diploma in occupational medicine is that it gives people all across the world the opportunity to learn about occupational medicine and to start and practice it with a sound practical and a theoretical background. The course is designed to be all delivered online, and we'll see more about the structure of the course later. But basically, this is designed as an introductory course for occupational medicine to teach people and introduce them to some of the basic concepts of occupational medicine and how it differs from purely clinical medicine. And there are some significant differences in the way that we approach our clients. We're in a non-treating relationship with them. We do diagnose diseases at times, but we tend to pass them on to specialist physicians for treatment and follow-up. Um, the, uh, the first three modules of the diploma course result in the diploma of the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland at the end of that, and that gives a good grounding in the basics of occupational medicine. There is a fourth module, which is the LFOM preparation module, which prepares students to take the LFOM Ireland exam. That's the Licentiate of Faculty of Occupational Medicine of Ireland, which is a professional exam and gives the right to practice occupational medicine in the UK and Ireland, um, and is a higher level. And that allows doctors to practice occupational medicine as non-specialists. And if you want to become a specialist in occupational medicine, you need to go on further study, training, and take higher exams. Um, I think the diploma and the LFOM covers the whole of the curriculum for an occupational physician. One of the things that a lot of occupational medicine is kind of based on legal practice in the countries which you operate in. One of the things that we have to do as occupational physicians is comply with the law, and we have to make sure that we're protecting our workers. The course is mainly based around Irish law for obvious reasons, but also European law, American law, Australian, and UK. So it gives a global benchmark into, and there are references to other legal practices as well. So it gives a global benchmark into legal practice around the world, but you will obviously have to study the legal requirements for the jurisdictions in which you work. Um, the course materials are all very high quality, high level. We have world experts who have prepared the materials for us, and the materials are backed up with embedded references and other materials as you go through. Um, the time commitment, we're looking at approximately 5 hours a week of study that you need to do to keep up with the course. And as well as the study, there'll also be weekly tutorials where you can discuss issues that have arisen, points that need clarification, and also hear from your fellow students as well. Um, I think those that we're going to go through the presentation now, but I think those are kind of the main things I wanted to say in introduction. I'm very proud of this course. I think it's an excellent material. and it gives us doctors all around the world the opportunity to study occupational medicine to an introductory level, but will allow people to start to practice occupational medicine. And should they want to, it's a great foundation for them to go on and study further to reach a specialist level. So I'll hand back to Osvaldo now.
So we'll just before we go on to Ian's presentation, would you mind to expand that just a little bit further on the value of getting the licenseship and membership qualifications, and the value that you found in your practice when it comes to or the recognition in other countries and also among international employers?
I think the advantage of the LFOM and the MFOM is that they are professional qualifications, and so they're a qualification to practice. Whereas the diploma is an academic qualification, and it shows that you've reached a certain level of knowledge around the subject. The LFOM is a qualification which is recognised in Ireland and the United Kingdom, and it gives doctors the right to practice occupational medicine as a non-specialist in those countries. It's also recognised in other countries around the world as well, and some of the Gulf states recognise it as well, again as a subspecialist qualification. If you want to go on to get a specialist level qualification, you can study for the MFOM. It is, a significant step up, so it's not something to be taken lightly. You have to put in a lot more study. You have to make sure that you collect the correct competencies and you have a good understanding of occupational medicine, so you can work at the level of specialist. And that course again is recognised as a specialist level qualification around the world, although it doesn't necessarily, just because you have MFOM Ireland, doesn't necessarily mean that you will be go onto the specialist register in a particular country. As we know, all countries have their own rules and regulations on entering the specialist register, but this would certainly be helpful in showing that you have knowledge and competence within occupational medicine. Within the corporate sector, these qualifications would be recognised as showing that you had a level of knowledge and practice in occupational medicine, and it may well help you to get employment within international corporates.
Thank you very much for that, Will. And certainly, any physician all over the world is welcome to apply for reform if they deem at a certain point in their career that they are appropriately prepared, right? In that preparedness pathway, this is one of the options. I mean, Ian is going to speak now about, what IHeed and RCPI have been working together all along the side, right? And yeah, over to you, Ian.
Brilliant. Well, thank you all so much for the invitation for today. It's like Will, I'm very, very proud of the professional diploma and the LFOM preparatory module that we have. And I love the fact that our audience is so broad and diverse, and that this can be studied anywhere. One of the best things, before I go into the slides, just one of the best things I think is how the international group can all talk about their experiences, and it's a bit of a flat hierarchy. So you don't come to the class and have someone teach at you for an hour. It's very collaborative. It's very discursive. And I've got a slide later about the flipped classroom approach. But I think one of the strengths of the program is the kind of international networking and the fact that you can do this kind of remotely and online and in your own time. But yeah, I'll bring you through the slides that I have here. So Norval, if you wouldn't mind clicking through.
Yes, please let me know if it works. I just would like to add thank you to all the team from IHeed and the Royal College. And For all the Peruvian members that I connected, uh, we already know the procedure here in Peru. We kind of know some of uh, the procedure and experience in the US and probably in Spain. But today, this is very important because it's new opportunities in these countries such as Ireland and UK. So please pay a lot of attention on this information and for the speakers. Let me know if it works. I am.
Perfect. Yeah, that's
Yes.
brilliant. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So yes, this is just what we're going to talk about. So a little bit about who IHeed are, a little bit about our partnership with the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland, and then we can talk you through what the end award is for when you complete the modules 1, 2, and 3 and complete the professional diploma. And then we'll look a little bit at just the overall delivery. IHeed has been around since I think it's 2013. We have a lot of experience in delivering online education internationally. So I think you're in good hands. Uh, Sorry, just as I start talking, the youngest child comes in. I'll also talk to you a little bit about Canvas, the platform that we have, and I can share what that looks like as well if that's useful later on. Um, and so yeah, so if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide there, please. So the RCPI are they were founded in 1654. They're the leaders in medical. Stop. They're the leaders in medical education in Ireland. They are used as kind of the think tank. They're government advisors. They're the thought leaders. They're hugely respected in Ireland and abroad. They offer their own bespoke postgraduate diplomas and specialist training that they would deliver in country. But they partnered with us back in 2019 to essentially develop their offering to an online international audience. So it all started with the diploma in child health. The DCH was the first one that we trialed, and we thought to ourselves, right, let's try and get 50 learners in. And within, I think it was 2 to 3 days, we had 75, and we decided that we were onto something. And so, luckily, the partnership has grown. We now have 6 professional diplomas that we run in conjunction with the RCPI. A seventh is being developed. We have a partnership agreement with them that lasts for another 2 years, but I imagine it'll get picked up for another 5. This particular diploma sits under the Faculty of Occupational Medicine. So, as Will says, there is kind of governance from the RCPI themselves, and there can be a slant towards Irish law, Irish legal system, but it's supplanted or can be translated across the international borders. I think we do kind of have a bit of caution that, you do need to check with your own regulators about certain topics, but the breadth of the coverage of the material is universal to all the occupational medics that we have on the program. So if you want to go to the next slide, please, Norval. And so, yeah, this just shows the strength of the partnership that RCPI has with IHeed. So, like I said, IHeed has been around since about 2013. It was founded by an Irish GP, and he had a mission to democratize the education, medical education, and to bring it to areas that maybe wouldn't be as accessible to them. So, primarily, it started with study, couldn't take time off, couldn't move away from the communities that they were servicing for X amount of days to study. So this online platform was perfect for them. In 2019, RCPI and IHeed signed their first contract. Like I said, that started with a diploma in child health. About a year into that partnership, that developed into a professional diploma in pediatrics. So already there was scope to grow, and that has now gone into 6 professional diplomas. So we have 20 intakes across the year. This occupational medicine professional diploma has 3 intakes a year. It starts in March, August, and a fluidity to how you can the program and how you can complete the program. So we're very, very learner focused. Kind of the student or the learner is the core of what we do here. And our job in the academic affairs team is to support all the learners as they go through distance when it comes to assessment deadlines or other kind of issues that life gets in the way of people when they're studying. So we're here to help, and part of that help is the flexibility in having three intakes. Obviously, as the head of delivery, I'm delighted with the 90 plus NPS or Net Promoter Score of 69. Anything above 50 is deemed world class. So we have over 134 nationalities linked to our different programs. We have over 120 faculty, of which Osvaldo and Will are part of that team. We have over 2,500 active learners across the programs. Of those learners, 300 are currently studying the occupational medicine program. And then we have 6,382 graduates. And of those graduates, I took my notes. We have 439 people who have graduated from the professional diploma. And then should they choose to go on, there's an optional fourth module, which is prep for the LFOM or the licentiate exam. So that just includes more breadth of material that they can study, as well as looking at kind of the cases, the presentations, and the viva. So if you would like to move on to the next slide, we can look at I think it's the specialism is next. So it's really important, I suppose, just to say that this is a 9-month award. So in no way confers a specialist status. And I think Will mentioned that already. The degree or the diploma is open to anyone, though. So often it is people who are kind of interested in the area of occupational medicine. All of the learners are doctors on this program. Some of our other diplomas are open to more allied healthcare professionals, but this is specific to the doctors. But they are at the start of their training program, perhaps kind of GPs that want to learn more, or experienced practitioners who just want that formal qualification at the end. But I think it is very, very important that we kind of have an asterisk whenever we're inducting people that this won't change your scope of practice and it won't make you a specialist, but it's a really important kind of grounding and stepping stone if this is the career path that you would like to go on to. Please. I think that would just change color. Cheers, thanks very much. So yeah, the 9 month the 9 month program. Sorry, if you go one more slide forward, please. There you go, perfect. So the academic as what the RCPI would issue if you completed the in-house program. So there's no mention or blended learning. And so the certificate is the same as what you would get with RCPI. Uh, they also your say it might take, depending on where you were in the world, it was like maybe 6 or 8 weeks after and you'd actually receive. Whereas very quickly it arrives in your inbox. It's again the same as what RCPI have for their learners. And you are entitled to CPD or CME, so continuous professional development or continuous medical education. There are points awarded to each week of the program. So you get 1 point for the e-learning content and 1 point for attending the actual tutorial. And so that means there's a total for the three modules of 54 hours or 54 points. And again, as part of the flexibility and the care and attention we give to our learners, if they need that at any point in the year, we can provide that incrementally. So if people start in August and they have a cutoff of December when they need to have their points registered, we can send a letter to say Dr. X has completed Y amount of the program and gets Z points or Z word. So really the main thing that we say is just reach out to us. There's Maria is the dedicated program manager, and then I assist her in the delivery of this. So really just anyone, if there's any issues, just comes to us and we can sort it. So move on to the next slide, please. And the next one I think is going to look at the program structure, and there's a bit of a pattern to each week. So again, I think Norval, there's about 3 clicks which we'll kind of we'll go through here. So we start off the year with a very comprehensive induction. So we have an induction week, and that allows for the group to get to meet each other. They get to meet their tutor, and they also get to meet Maria and myself, and we bring them through what the program overview is going to look like. We give them a heads up on what the assessment strategy is and some hints and tips about what they can do to study and prepare. It gives them a few days to navigate the platform and get used to Canvas before they have to do anything else with it. And it helps us just, I suppose, set the scene and set the expectations. So the induction week, the learners are asked to complete their contract, set up their payment plan, and self-register on RCPI's system. And once they complete those 3 things, they're free to come into the program and they can start Module 1, Week 1. And there's a structure or a pattern to each week. So we're very aware that we have a vastly international audience. We have people who are, plus 13 hours ahead of us in Wellington, New Zealand, and we have people who are minus 5 hours behind us in the Caribbean. So it's kind of, we have to cater to every time zone. I often warn any of my program managers when they're coming in that there's always going to be a learner awake somewhere asking a question. So you can never clear your inbox. There's always someone awake somewhere that needs you. But in order to, I suppose, facilitate the program for this vast audience, we have a flipped classroom approach, which means that the content and the discussion are looked at asynchronously. So all of the doctors fit I suppose, the pre-required or the pre-reading material. They do that as and when suits them over the course of the week before they meet with their tutor and the group for a tutorial. So we have a weekly case discussion, which kind of prompts. It might look at a specific case that's aligned to the week's topic, and people will, again, whenever they're going through the material, will post their thoughts, post their ideas. And we try and foster a community where, there's no bad ideas, there's no stupid questions. Everyone's allowed to is that they get comfortable with their small group, that they can challenge each other or agree with each other. And then the tutor will monitor this discussion and come in every few days or every couple of days and just boost the conversation. Tell people if they're going in the right direction, maybe course correct if they're going a little off piste. And supplementary to that discussion then is the engaging e-learning content. So Will, I think, has mentioned that the content was developed by SMEs or subject matter experts. They have created, through the instructional designers and the engineers that we have in the background, they have created this fantastic platform that myself and Maria get to take all the credit for when we're talking to the students. But it's incredibly rich, it's incredibly engaging. It's not just flat text, it's not just links out to different PDFs. There are embedded videos, there are quizzes, there are reflective prompts to think about what you've just been looking at. There's very clearly signposted learning objectives and outcomes. So by the end of this week, you will do X, Y, Z, or you will know how to do this. And then you will go through the interactive cases. And then at the end, it very neatly summarizes what you've learned. It's also been developed for healthcare professionals by healthcare professionals. So we're aware that people are very busy trying to fit this into their schedule. So what we've done is we've created a kind of it's called a breadcrumb or an accordion. So each week is divided into subjects and subtopics. So again, you can study this on your lunch break or on your commute to work, and you can really hone in on one small area. Sometimes I've heard that medical journals can be, here's a 600-page document, read this. And that's a very daunting prospect. Whereas if you have, 5 very interactive pages that are actually available on your phone or on your tablet, it's a really, really enticing way of learning. And a lot of things are reinforced as you go through. There's common themes or what we call vertical themes that are linked throughout a couple of weeks and a couple of modules. But the content is there online, on demand, available whenever you want it. And then you will meet with your tutor and your peers or your community of practice for the weekly tutorial. This is live, it's online, it's at a set time, and we do ask all learners to come to as many of these as they can. Again, in the spirit of flexibility and support, we do have these sessions recorded and they are available to be watched back on demand at any time that people want. But again, like I had an asterisk about the specialists piece, there's an asterisk here that the more you put into the program, the more you get out. So while attendance isn't mandatory and while it doesn't have any points attached to it, it's really, really important that learners engage. Not only does it help distance learning feel a little less isolated, but you also get a chance to link in with your specialists, with your tutors. And then we do have assessments and exams then littered throughout the modules. So we have a communication skills exam in module one and module two. And then in module three and module four, we have written reports. So a case report and a worksite visit, which is very applicable to your portfolio. And then at the end of each module, there are both a multiple choice exam and then a formative quiz, which will again give a lot more prep for the LFOM exam. So that's kind of I think there's another slide on assessment structure, so I can go into that in a bit more detail. But if we want to move on to the next slide, please. Sorry, Norval, could we go on to the next slide? I
Hello,
can.
Norville. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Brilliant. Cheers. Thank you so much. So yeah, so Canvas is our online learning environment. That's the app or the platform on which everything is built. It's available anywhere, anytime, on any device. All of the professional diplomas can be everything can be done on your smartphone or your tablet. Your exams or the learner's exams have to be done on a desktop or a laptop for security purposes. But the flexibility in delivery is top notch. Now, I have glasses, my eyesight are terrible, so I like having a big screen. But if you are that way inclined, or again, if you are traveling or commuting to work, to be able to go into your discussions or to read some of the material on your phone is really, really beneficial. All of the examinable, again, as long as people are going through the material and nasty surprises in the exam at the end. There is a Canvas app as well, which can be downloaded on the phone, and there's a lot of clinical decision making and patient cases. So it's really applicable to kind of real life scenarios. Obviously, they're fake cases, but it's really, really applicable. And one of the bits of feedback that we're getting is that people they're able to put what they're learning in practice in real time. So as they're going through the program, they're able to say, right, well, what did I learn this week, and what can I do with the person who's sitting in front of me here with regards to their ergonomic test or whatever it might be. Um, the other thing then as well is Canvas access can be ongoing. So the diplomas last grants you access for a year. So you do get 3 additional months. And then if you want to have kind of ongoing access, there is an alumni network. So our graduates are invited to join the alumni network. And for a small fee, an annual fee, they can have ongoing access to the material, which was for years something that people were asking for. And so we were finally able to get the engineers to get that sorted for us. But that means that we now have uh, I suppose, a community that goes on beyond the professional diploma and a network that exists for a bit longer, which is again really really wonderful for the people that join it. If we go on to the next slide, then please. That just shows that it can be on a phone. And then here are the MIPLOs. I think at this point, am I handing over to you, Will, to go through, I suppose, some of the content that is housed on Canvas?
Yeah, I'll take through um, the case studies and the tutorials, we hope to be able to do that. So on completion of the course, we would expect that you a workplace assessment, and also, look at FOM preparation course. So, identify disease presentations in the workplace that might be caused by work exposures. And this is very important to do, obviously. And also, having recognized an occupational disease, what do you need to do about that? And that not only relates to the individual that you're seeing, but also the rest of the workforce. If there's one person who's been exposed and has a disease or injury, the likelihood is that there are others in the workforce who are being exposed as well. We've talked about ethical and legislative frameworks, and in fact, the course refers a lot to the Irish legislation, which is actually the European Union legislation. So, if some of you have studied the Spanish legislation, you'll find that that's actually very similar. But it's very useful to have some kind of international benchmarks for legislation, and you can compare them, with the legislation in your own country. And if you go to work internationally, there are some countries whose legislative framework is very weak, and actually it gives you some international standards that you can refer to. And how to apply those. Can we just go back? Sorry, thank you. How to apply those. Fitness for duty is a core competence for occupational physicians. Also, communication skills, how we disclose occupational health information, both to the workers who we're seeing as clients, but also to the management as well, and how we protect the workers' confidentiality, but how we provide management with the information they need to manage health within the workplace. And lastly, we have to have that impartial approach, independent approach as an occupational physician. And we have two clients. We have the worker and we have the management, and we need to kind of be able to provide information to both of those in an ethical way. And I think it's important to recognize that as occupational physicians, we're not acting as the treating doctors. We have a different role. But where you're working as a GP in the workplace and an occupational physician, that can sometimes become complicated, but you need to be quite clear in which role you're working at different times. And we can discuss that as we go through the course. Next slide, please. The next slide looks at the structure for the diploma course. This is made up of 3 modules: essentials in occupational health, health and safety, health surveillance, and fitness for safety critical tasks. Each of those modules have 9 subjects, which are each covered in a 1-week package, and it runs through the. I'm not going to read through all of these now, but it runs through the whole curriculum for the diploma. In the first module, you have a formative video assessment. So there's a video assessment where you're asked to conduct an occupational consultation, and that's videoed, and you're marked on that and given feedback on it, but it doesn't actually go towards your assessment. It's a learning process. And you also have a multiple choice examination as well, which is part of the assessment, and you're expected to pass to progress. Second, if you do fail the examination, you get another opportunity to retake. So you get two opportunities with the exams. For the second module, your video assessment is marked and is part of the assessment, and you have another multiple choice exam. And then for the third one, we ask you to write a written case report, and that's a formative assessment. You're marked on that, and that counts towards the assessment. And you also have a multiple choice exam. So those are the modules and the assessments for the diploma. Next slide, please. We then move on to the AFOM preparatory module. So the AFOM exam is an exam which is administered by the Faculty of Occupational Medicine of Ireland. It stands separate to the course, and there's a separate fee for the exam. But the LFOM preparatory module will take you through some kind of subjects which haven't been addressed in the diploma, and some subjects like toxicology and epidemiology, which we go into in more detail than was done previously. There's also sample cases. There are also examples of multiple choice questions that you might expect to get in the LFOM. We'll ask you to again produce a written case report, and there is an examination, but that's non-formative, but it's a practice exam for the LFOM. As I say, there are additional topics here, including aviation medicine, toxicology 2, epidemiology, legislation and ethics. And that is designed to bring you up to a standard to take the LFOM exam. So I think I'll finish now and hand back.
I know, really think if you can just keenly introduce David as well, so I think he's going to go through the final part of the slide deck.
Yeah, so again, I suppose this just is fundamental to IHeed, where it's just the supports that are available to the learners or to the students. I think I mentioned this already, that there's a dedicated program manager. If the program grows and grows, they then get support through a coordinator. As it stands, we have two kind of RCPI coordinators that can help. But essentially, people can direct any query to the program management team. So that's Maria, myself, the program lead. So Will Ponsonby is one of our program clinical lead, and then we have the RCPI lead as well, who is more for, I suppose, the governance side of things. That's Connor McDonald. And then we have a network of tutors as well. So all of our tutors have their specific areas of interest. So if we have a specific query, we know where to direct it. We have assessment support. So Will just mentioned about some of the assessments there, and you'll have noticed that some of the assessments are formative, and that's so that the learners don't have a grade attached to the first time that they're submitting something. So the first time people are recording a video of themselves doing a mock consultation, that could be quite unnerving or quite daunting. So we make sure that in module 1, it's purely formative. You'll get feedback from your tutor. It's still really important that you do it, and the tutor will give feedback that will help in your preparation and delivery of Module 2's video. Similarly, before any exam, you'll have a mock or a practice exam to familiarize yourself with the process of an online exam. Again, we're very aware this might be the first time people are doing an online exam, so it's just really to help settle nerves, allow people to put their best foot forward when they're doing their attempts. We have then what we call academic affair open office hours. So again, I've sort of said, there's no silly questions, but sometimes people still don't want to talk in a class or, in a big group. So we set up Zooms like this where people can come and talk to us individually, one-to-one, with any issues that they have. And again, I've been working with IHeed for about 8 years now. There's so many different things that the learners come to us for support. It's every time I think I've heard everything, another doozy gets landed on my desk, and you're dealing with something else. But everything is always dealt with confidentially. It's one-to-one. Every case is individual, and like I said at the very start, our job is to support the learners through the journey here. And then there is technical support as well. So Canvas is an online platform. There are links out to other external sources. Sometimes those links might fall down. So we have tech team in the background that can help fix if any of the apps aren't working. And then, yeah, again, I've got there that we have the proactive approach. Just if there are mitigating circumstances, it is key that there is good communication between the learners and ourselves and the faculty. I find that as long as everyone knows why something's happening or when it's happening, everyone is quite okay. And so again, we have all of our faculty are working. They themselves have their medical emergencies, so sometimes classes have to get postponed or swapped. But again, we just kind of keep that open communication. But anyway, I think that's my last one. So thank you very much for your time.
You can go to the next. Oh, thanks. I suppose first and foremost, thanks for having us here. And if I'm just to double down on that last slide of what Ian said, before we get into just the reviews, genuinely if we can go back just 2 pages there, Norval. Genuinely, the level of student-centric focus that's offered on these programs, I would go so far to say it's probably going to be one of the best experiences you will have on the program. Yes, it's distance learning, but you will not feel remote or abandoned at any stage, and there will always be multiple points of contact you as a student on the program will be able to reach out to and get that support, be it Ian, Maria, the wider support team, the technical team, myself. At any stage, you'll be in touch. So not just the learning experience and the connectivity of you with your ring-fenced classroom of 20 other medical professionals that you'll be able to work with and get to know. Some of the key comments there would be that this diploma has been a very crucial part of my career development. If you're interested in developing a career in occupational medicine, I would heavily rate this program. You'll see many of these comments, shout outs to both Ian and Maria. And these are not paid for, by the way. We've had to go the hard way in earning these awards and the right way about it. So it's something we're extraordinarily proud of. And as Ian mentioned at the start, and I don't say this because of the audience that's in front of us, but we have 6 to move on to 7 programs with the RCPI. We also do some work with other additional respected universities with other programs. I think in total we have something in the region of about 15, 16 programs. But if there was one program from a review basis that sticks head and shoulders above the rest, not to say the others are not doing well, our occupational medicine program, the reviews and the results that we've been getting from it has been absolutely fantastic. We can move on to the next slide now, Norval, if you're ready to do so. So just to review some of the information Ian has given you. So if you're interested in joining the program, I am going to point to the QR code first on the screen. If anyone wants to hold their phone up to that, they will be able to find a bespoke link that will be for attendees of this event. I'll get to the pricing on the program as well, just down the bottom. But as Ian mentioned, this is specifically for medical doctors. So in order for you to join the program, we will need to see the English translation of your university MBBS, your degree. That's first and foremost. Secondly, we'll need a personal statement. This statement will be anywhere between 300 to 400 words outlining your motivation for joining this program, and then also just for verification, your phone available on the program. We'll be able to place you on the intake of your choice, be it March, August, or November. Please bear in mind, one of the successes of this program is we have a very strong student-teacher ratio, 20-1 maximum. The reason we do that, and the reason we do everything, is because by the learnings we're able to pass on and the education we're able to deliver to the highest level, ultimately will then lead to the best possible, in every case, patient-focused delivery. So everything we do we're part of this patient focus delivery right the way through. So for that reason, we have a cap on every intake. It's very strict. We will only take so many students internationally, and once we reach that mark, we have to close the intake. So if this is something you are genuinely interested in looking and doing, please be aware of that. It's not there to dissuade people from joining. It's more so there to make sure that what we're delivering and the education level we're delivering, as Ian mentioned earlier, it's delivered to the same standard as on campus. It's certified to the same standard as on campus. And we do that by all these support and classroom ratios and live interaction. So please, the payments, just to get to this nasty part, unfortunately, nothing comes for free, but we have a heavy reduction in place here as well. So the total cost of the program is €3,000. That is for the professional diploma, which is the certified program. There is an option then to do the 4 modules. And if you are interested, as Will pointed out in his slides where we had the hierarchy and the development within a career in occupational medicine, and you were interested in joining the 4th module, which would be very, very advantageous, that will prepare you probably to the highest level before sitting the LFOM examination and having the licentiate of the Faculty of Occupational Medicine level. So to secure your place on the program, the initial payment deposit would be €500, and then after the program commences, we can set up payment plans in place to all our payment plans are interest free as well, by the way. We try to make the program as financially accessible as possible. The only additional cost that may be incurred is a international transaction fee at most. And we say that not definite, that can happen. It differs region for region. So outside of the costings you see, there will never be any interest charged from our side. So if you just want to go to the final slide, that QR code is up there. But sorry, just before so you go as well, if anyone has any questions about the program, obviously they can contact Dr. Osvaldo. I'm sure you have Norval's email address, but if anyone needs either myself or Ian's email address to talk on a one-to-one basis, or any other queries or questions, feel free. I hope it's come across that we're both very approachable. And as Ian mentioned, there's never been a silly question posed to us yet. So feel free to reach out to us on an individual basis at any stage. The final slide is just a recap. If you want to go, yeah, thanks, Norval. Cheers. So the first program is 27 weeks. There is study breaks built into that 27-week time period. So it's not work. There'll be chances for you to catch up. There'll be chances for you also to potentially deep dive into another part of the program where we have additional prescribed readings that don't form any part of the examination process, but they're there available to you along with a digital library if you want to deep dive and go even further with what you take from the program. It is quite an innovative online experience. I would go so far as to say that you have probably not experienced another learning a scenario like this. And it's something that we know once you've done, you will be naturally telling everybody about it because of the positive experience you've had. It is a professional award. It is delivered and solely signed off by the Royal College of Physicians Ireland. It is globally recognised. As mentioned, the free breakdown, as you can see there, and then we'll just hold on that slide as well if anyone is interested in scanning that QR code so they can do so. But I think at this stage, if we can open the floor to any Q&A or questions that anyone wants to pose to us now, we'd be delighted to handle them. Thank you.
David, gracias. Gracias, Ian. Gracias, Will, por tu presentación tan detallada. el link que están viendo en este momento en sus pantallas, el link, el QR, tiene una PSOM que significa Peruvian Society of Occupational Medicine. En realidad es SOMOMA, son miembros de ICO y de SOMOMA, es la última parte a la que David hacía alusión. Que estén interesados, este link les puede servir para asegurar un cupo, como decía David, en realidad hay un límite que está determinado porque el número de tutores y de miembros de facultad es limitado, entonces no es que haya un número infinito de vacantes. Eh, Ahora, yo quería, dentro de toda la presentación, un poco para resaltar algunas cosas en español. No me voy a extender mucho, se los prometo. Primero que nada, resaltar que eh, la calificación de licenciatura y de membresía, para las que potencialmente este diploma sirve como un primer paso, y lo digo por experiencia, porque la mayoría de personas, o al menos muchos de los que terminan el diploma, luego escriben, ya sea a mí o a otros tutores, interesados en dar el siguiente paso, que es en realidad el examen de licenciatura, que es del que Will habló también en algún momento. Es un diploma bastante bien organizado, no solamente por la calidad de los materiales. Estoy seguro que muchos de ustedes han encontrado los tópicos específicos ya bastante familiares, ¿no? Cuando les hablan de toxicología, cuando les hablan de aptitud para el trabajo, de vigilancia médica, creo que muchos de ustedes ya tienen en realidad muchas de esas nociones. Lo que yo personalmente, como en mi experiencia, encontré diferente es la forma como esos diferentes componentes están organizados en un sistema que podría incluso llegar a ser totalmente distinto al que nosotros estamos acostumbrados a ver en Perú. Y eso normalmente nos abre las puertas también para entender cómo trabajan nuestros colegas en otras partes del mundo, pero también además para identificar otros roles que los médicos ocupacionales pueden tener y que a lo mejor aquí en Perú todavía no los desarrollamos como potenciales especialidades. Entonces, es algo que yo se lo recomiendo que revisen eh, con todo el detalle que puedan. Y bueno, ahora sí vamos a abrir formalmente la sección de preguntas y respuestas. Si alguien tiene ahora, en este momento, alguna pregunta, puede hacerla en inglés o en español. Incluso si la pregunta todavía digamos, no se les aparece en la mente el día de hoy, después también van a poder hacerlos escribiéndonos a mí o a Norville en los siguientes días. Abrimos entonces con preguntas y respuestas, Norville.
Sí, buenas tardes con todos. Muchas gracias a todos los speakers, doctor Will, doctor David, doctor Ian, doctor Osvaldo, por compartir la información y las experiencias también. Para todos los participantes, por favor, les invitamos a que puedan realizar preguntas. Incluso pueden hacerlas en español y les ayudamos con la traducción para que cualquiera de los cuatro expositores puedan resolver también sus dudas. Incluso pueden dejar las preguntas en el chat para que nosotros podamos ayudarles con la traducción.
Hi, sorry to jump in. I just got a question there, which is great to see on the chat. What are the job opportunities we can have after this diploma?
I think I'll take that one. Talking internationally, I think having the diploma gives you a recognised qualification in occupational medicine that would allow you as a medical practitioner potentially to get work providing occupational health services either with a provider, a hospital or another provider to provide occupational health services. You could go and work and then provide those services, or being employed directly by an employer. It would show that you have some knowledge in that area, that you can provide occupational health services. But there's no guarantee of those things, of course. But it does mean that you've got a qualification in those areas, and you can show to a potential employer that you have some competence and knowledge.
Are you happy with that answer, Juanita? Oh, perfect. Thanks. That's great. And just to again, double down on that question as well. I suppose
Yeah.
since the program has been launched, we've just seen it grow from strength to strength as we've seen some of the numbers. Both myself and Will, back in November, were recently on a part of a tour of the Gulf region, and not only were some of the people we were meeting to talk about the program very aware of the program, within some of the organizations and institutes we were meeting, they were students on the program at the moment as well. So it's a very, we know the RCPI are globally recognized, but this actual program on the ground is very heavily known and very, very heavily respected.
Sorry, Dave, can I just interrupt? Can I just say that I was in India in January, and I met up with some students on the program there, and two of them were regional managers for international corporates, well-recognized companies that you would know. And they were qualified as occupational physicians in India, but they enrolled in the IHeed course. And I said to them, "Why did you enroll in the IHeed course? You already have an Indian qualification." And they said, "This gave us a different perspective. It was more international and it was very up to date." And that they found that very useful as well. So even people who've already got a qualification in occupational medicine, find this course gives them new information and different perspectives as well.
Brilliant. Osvaldo, I think there was one question posed there.
Yeah, exactly. It
It's
was
in
about
Spanish.
the specific names of people that teach in the diplomat. So some people is curious. Probably they are not going to know the names, but Will, if you have any highlights about the people that teaches the diploma, or David, any of you?
I think Will, you'll be able to answer this question probably.
Well, toxicology, the toxicology module was written by Professor T. Godotti, who is a global world expert. The well-being module was written by Dr. Richard Herron,
Richard
who's
Aaron
formerly the
did.
Chief Medical Officer of BP. Um, I can't remember any of the others offhand, but they're all of that level.
There,
In that we have people at professorial level working across the globe, and they come from all across the world as well. It's not just from the United Kingdom and Ireland. We have a very international faculty, so we have experts from all over the world.
I think what I might just share in the chat to answer that question, Osvaldo, is I will bring up the information of the list of the tutors on the program. I'll share that in the chat, that link now shortly.
Yeah, that's something that Ian has already shared, the dedicated tutors as well, in addition to the faculty members that we just mentioned. Also, Dr. Renato Vargas is asking, since many colleagues have a significant work commitment, I wanted to ask about the average number of hours per week required to complete a course. How many hours are needed for academic sessions, and how many hours for preparing assignments or workshops on average per week? I also like to know if each section of the course closes automatically each week, or if it can be completed at a more flexible pace for those of us with very little free time. Thank you in advance.
I can handle some of that question, absolutely. So in terms of how many hours you would need for each week we say to most students, depending on the topic and depending on your comprehension and understanding of that particular topic, it's going to land at about between 3 to 5 hours of self-directed, self-managed e-learning. So somewhere in that as an average, between 3 to 5 hours. The program is deliberately over 9 months. So the information that we're sharing and the learning that you're gaining is absorbed. It's not just temporarily put in your head to be spat out on an examination paper just so you can get an award. We're building information and skills that are going to last you a professional lifetime. So it's at very nice pace. It won't be overwhelming. We mentioned earlier as well that there are breaks during the program, so there will be opportunities. Should you be in a position that you fall behind, you will have the opportunity to catch up. Other flexible aspects of the program that we mentioned earlier, but I'm happy to mention this again, is the tutorial. So the tutorial is probably the only fixed agenda each week. However, and we say this, with a big caveat, that if you miss a tutorial, it's okay. It will be recorded. That session will then be uploaded to your Canvas learning system, and you will be able to watch that recording back in your own time of your classroom, of the content that you missed. So you don't need to ask anybody for what happened in that classroom. It will be there for you. In saying that, and what Ian mentioned earlier, and what both Will and Osvaldo will agree with, we cannot underline the importance of attending as many classrooms as possible for what you will take from the program ultimately. It's such an important part of the learning experience. So whilst there is the backup that you won't, that it won't be a pinch point if you cannot attend, and you'll be able to watch the recording. It still is such a brilliant part of the program that we're delivering these live interactive tutorials in these small group settings as well. I hope that answers a good part of that question.
Yeah, I think most of that. So the short answer is between 3 to 5 hours. That is flexible because in the middle and at the end of each module, actually you have a couple of weeks to catch up if you fall behind. So most of the learners actually find that flexibility very useful. And what I would say in addition is that the materials are so digestible that actually you are not going to be falling behind very often unless you have significant workloads, Renato.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome.
No, you're very welcome. It's great to see how many questions are coming in here, by the way. So thank you very much. It's always good to see when the classroom is engaging that way.
Yeah. So yeah, I think what we're gonna do is just to be conscious of time. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap up all these questions and send it over email with David and Ian for them to be able to respond, and we will provide straight responses to the people that are raising them. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Norville or myself to respond as well. Norville, any final closure words before we finish the call? I'm taking care of the question, by the way.
Okay, thank you all for your support, especially the Royal College of Physicians of Ireland and the IHeed Cambridge Group, to all the speakers and of course the participants. Our gratitude to Dr. Osvaldo for all your proactive support during all organization of this webinar. And I just would like to ask to add to these comments that we're going to share the recording of this webinar in order that you can get it to check information, to check the questions that has been solved by the speakers, and you can find us in the YouTube channel as ICOH Peru. You will find it by tomorrow.
Okay, we will share also some, or actually all the slides in a PDF format for your convenience. Thank you very much for attending today, and have a brilliant rest of your day. Thank you very much, Will. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
Ian.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.